There's a pattern that keeps repeating itself in the used car market, and if you've been paying attention, you've probably noticed it too. Volkswagens show up for sale at a very specific point in their lives, somewhere between 70 and 90,000 miles. Not beaten up, not visually damaged, often with clean interiors and decent paint. But they're being sold, and they're being sold fast. The question most buyers never think to ask is, why is a car that looks this good leaving its owner so quickly? The answer isn't a simple one, and it isn't always pretty. Volkswagen has spent decades building cars with real driving character. The steering feels precise, the cabins feel European and solid, and the brand carries a certain prestige that sits comfortably between mainstream and luxury. For a lot of buyers, that's an irresistible combination. But somewhere between the test drive and the six-figure odometer reading, something changes. Owners who once loved their Passat or their Tiguan start doing the math, and that math doesn't always add up in Volkswagen's favor. Today we're going to walk through exactly why so many of these owners choose to sell before the 100,000-mile mark, and what that means for anyone thinking about buying one. Reason 1. The DSG transmission problem that won't go away. If there is one mechanical system that comes up in nearly every conversation about long-term Volkswagen ownership, it's the DSG, the direct shift gearbox. This dual-clutch automatic transmission was marketed as the best of both worlds, the smoothness of an automatic with the efficiency of a manual. And when it works, it genuinely is impressive. The problem is what happens when it stops working. The DSG uses 2 wet clutches and a complex mechatronic unit that controls the shifting. In the earlier generations of this transmission, particularly those found in models from the mid-2000s through the early 2000s teens, that mechatronic unit became a known failure point. Owners would describe lurching at low speeds, hesitation when pulling away from a stop, rough downshifts, and sometimes complete transmission failure without much warning. The repairs are not cheap. Mechatronic unit replacements routinely run into the thousands of dollars, and if the clutch packs themselves are worn, you can double or triple that number. Volkswagen has made improvements over the generations, and the newer versions of the DSG are more reliable. But here's the psychological reality for an owner approaching 70 or 80,000 miles. They know the stories, they've read the forums, they've heard from friends, and even if their particular car has shown no symptoms yet, the anxiety of what might be coming starts to influence the decision to sell. Many owners don't wait for the failure. They sell into the fear of it. That's a powerful motivator, and it pushes a lot of clean, well-maintained Volkswagens onto the market before the expensive stuff ever happens. Reason 2. Timing chain tensioner. Failures in the 2.0T engine. The EA888 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine is the heartbeat of modern Volkswagen's lineup. It powers the Golf, the Jetta, the Taycan, the Passat, and several Audi models that share the same platform. It's a strong engine in terms of performance, responsive, refined, and genuinely enjoyable to drive. It's also an engine that comes with a very specific and very expensive vulnerability. The timing chain in the earlier versions of this engine, particularly the Generation 1 and Generation 2 variants, runs through a tensioner and plastic guide rails that were simply not designed to last the full life of the engine. The tensioner can loosen, the plastic guides can crack and shed debris into the oil supply. When the timing chain loses its proper tension, the engine's valve timing goes off, and if the chain skips or breaks, the result is engine damage that can cost more to fix than the car is worth. This isn't a theoretical concern. It's well documented across owner communities, in technical service bulletins, and in the repair histories of shops that specialize in German vehicles. Volkswagen revised the design in later production runs and updated the tensioner specification, but early-build EA888 engines continue to show this failure pattern, often surfacing between 60,000 and 90,000 miles. For owners who know their car sits in that risk window, selling before the problem appears is a rational decision. For buyers who don't know, it can be a very expensive education. Reason 3. Electrical gremlins that defy logic and drain wallets. German automotive engineering is celebrated for its sophistication, but sophistication has a cost when things go wrong. Volkswagen vehicles, particularly from the 2000s and early 2010s, developed a reputation for electrical problems that can be maddening to diagnose and expensive to fix. Warning lights that appear for no clear reason, windows that refuse to roll up in cold weather, door locks that cycle on their own, infotainment screens that go dark. These aren't rare horror stories. They're common threads running through owner forums, Facebook groups, and the review sections of every major automotive publication. Much of this traces back to the complexity of the CAN bus system that Volkswagen uses to connect every module in the car. When a module develops a fault, it can trigger error codes across the entire network, making it difficult for even experienced technicians to isolate the actual source of the problem. Diagnosis itself takes time, and time at a shop costs money. When a fault is finally found, the component price for Volkswagen electronics is rarely modest. A body control module, a gateway control unit, or a faulty instrument cluster can each represent hundreds of dollars in parts before labor is even factored in. What makes this particularly frustrating for owners is the unpredictability. The car might run perfectly for months, then develop 3 unrelated warning lights within a week. This is the kind of ownership experience that erodes trust, and trust is the foundation of keeping a car long-term. When owners feel like they can't rely on their vehicle, they start looking for the exit. Selling before more gremlins appear becomes the logical conclusion. Reason 4. The cost of scheduled maintenance at a dealership. Volkswagen has always positioned itself as an attainable premium brand, and for the most part, it succeeds. But attainable premium still means premium maintenance costs, and that reality becomes harder to ignore as the miles climb. The spark plugs in a turbocharged Volkswagen are not the same swap-them-yourself job they might be in a domestic vehicle. Many of these engines require specialized torque specifications, specific plug types, and access that's complicated by turbo components and tight engine bays. Independent shops can handle this, but at a cost that surprises owners who expect it to be simple. Oil service is another area where costs creep up. Volkswagen specifies full synthetic oil with a long life rating, which is more expensive than conventional oil. The quantity required per change is higher than many comparable engines. Add in the cost of a genuine filter, and the dealer's labor rate, and a routine oil change becomes a $40 to $60 event minimum. More at dealerships in high cost of living areas. But the real financial shock often comes at the major service intervals. The 60,000-mile and 90,000-mile services typically include spark plugs, air filter, cabin filter, fuel filter on diesel variants, brake fluid flush, and a full inspection. Done at a Volkswagen dealership, these services can run well into the $500 to $800 range. Some owners budget for this and plan accordingly. Others reach that first major service bill, feel the sticker shock, and decide that the math of long-term ownership no longer works for them. Selling becomes the path of least resistance. Reason 5. Turbocharger wear and oil consumption. After 70,000 miles, turbocharged engines have become the industry standard, and Volkswagen was ahead of many competitors in embracing forced induction across its lineup. The performance benefits are real. Small displacement engines that produce power figures once reserved for much larger motors. But turbos are mechanical components operating under extreme heat and pressure, and they require meticulous maintenance to reach their full lifespan. The turbochargers found in Volkswagen's TSI engines depend entirely on clean, fresh oil for their lubrication. The turboshaft spins at tens of thousands of revolutions per minute, and the only thing standing between that shaft and catastrophic failure is a thin film of oil. When oil changes are delayed, when the oil degrades faster than expected due to short-trip driving, or when a small internal seal begins to weep, the consequences build gradually and then all at once. One of the most common complaints from Volkswagen owners in the 70 to 90,000 mile window is rising oil consumption. A car that previously showed no signs of burning oil suddenly needs a quart topped off between changes. Then it needs more. This is often an early sign of turbo wear or piston ring degradation, and it signals that more expensive work is coming. Some owners address it proactively with a seal replacement or a turbo rebuild. Many others decide that the writing is on the wall and put the car on the market while it still presents well. This is one of the quieter reasons these cars appear for sale at exactly this mileage, and buyers who don't check the oil consumption history are buying someone else's problem. Reason 6. Depreciation hits harder. After the warranty expires, new Volkswagens come with a 4-year, 50,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty and a 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. For many buyers, this coverage period feels like a comfort zone, a window of ownership where the financial exposure is limited. Once the warranty expires, the dynamic shifts entirely, and Volkswagen's depreciation curve becomes a significant factor in the sell versus keep calculation. Volkswagen vehicles depreciate faster than comparable Japanese vehicles. A Honda or Toyota at 70,000 miles holds a higher percentage of its original value than a Volkswagen at the same mileage. Part of this is market perception. Buyers and appraisers factor in the known cost risks of out-of-warranty German engineering. Part of it is simply the market adjusting to the reality that these cars are more expensive to maintain and repair than their Japanese counterparts. For Volkswagen owners, this creates a specific financial pinch point. The car has depreciated significantly from its purchase price, but the costs of ownership are climbing. If the owner financed the vehicle, they may find themselves in a position where the remaining loan balance is close to or even above the car's current market value. Trading in or selling privately before the depreciation accelerates further and before the next round of maintenance expenses arrives becomes the financially sound choice. It's not about the car failing. It's about the economics of holding an asset that is losing value faster than the owner is paying it down. Reason 7. The Dieselgate shadow still falls on resale value. In 2015, Volkswagen was caught in one of the most significant corporate scandals in automotive history. The company had installed software in its diesel vehicles, specifically the TDI engines, that was designed to detect when the car was undergoing emissions testing and artificially reduce nitrogen oxide output during the test. Under real-world driving conditions, those same engines emitted pollutants at rates far exceeding legal limits. The scandal affected millions of vehicles worldwide and resulted in billions of dollars in fines, settlements, and buyback programs. Volkswagen paid a significant financial price, and the reputational damage was severe. For diesel TDI owners who kept their vehicles through the buyback period, the cars that were returned to dealers were often resold with modified software, reduced performance, and an asterisk attached to their ownership history. For the broader Volkswagen brand, the scandal raised questions that went beyond diesel engines. If the company had deliberately deceived regulators in one area, what else might be compromised? That question planted a seed of doubt that persists in the used car market even now. When TDI owners approach the higher mileage window, the combination of the Dieselgate history, the complexity of the modified emission systems, and the uncertainty around long-term reliability after the software fix creates a powerful incentive to sell. The market knows this too, which is why TDI Volkswagens trade at lower values than comparable vehicles, and why sellers who want to exit cleanly do so before the mileage climbs high enough to further suppress the price. The bottom line. Here's what all of this adds up to. Volkswagen builds genuinely engaging cars. The driving experience is real, the interior quality is competitive, and the brand carries a heritage that matters to a certain kind of buyer. But the ecosystem around long-term Volkswagen ownership, the maintenance costs, the known failure points, the depreciation curve, and the residual uncertainty from past scandals creates a very specific window where selling makes more sense than holding. That window is between 70 and 90,000 miles, before the DSG shows its age, before the timing chain tensioner becomes a conversation, maybe before the turbo starts asking for more oil than it should, before the depreciation makes the numbers truly painful. Owners who understand this sell at the right time and walk away with a fair price. Buyers who don't understand it pick up a car that looks like a great deal. And sometimes it is. But often they're inheriting a countdown clock. If you're shopping for a used Volkswagen, do the homework. Get a pre-purchase inspection from a shop that knows German vehicles. Pull the service history, check the oil level and condition yourself. Ask specifically about the transmission type and whether any work has been done on the timing chain system. And if you're a current Volkswagen owner watching this at 80,000 miles, take stock of where your car stands. Understanding why others are selling is the first step to making the right decision for yourself. If this video gave you something to think about, drop a comment below. Tell us whether you've owned a Volkswagen and how your experience stacked up. And if you found this useful, please subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We cover this stuff every week, and there's always something worth knowing before you buy, sell, or keep your next vehicle.